You picked the formula that looked the cleanest. Maybe your pediatrician mentioned it. Maybe you saw it everywhere. The parenting blogs, the influencers, the moms swearing it was the closest thing to breast milk. And then, in 2026, it got recalled. A federal recall. If you had that formula in your home when the news broke, you know that gut drop, that panic, that desperate question, what do I give my baby now? I had that moment too. I had that formula in my house. And when I started digging for answers, what I found went way beyond one recall. Here's the thing. The recall was just the headline. 95% of baby foods tested contained heavy metals. Arsenic, lead, cadmium, mercury. 1 in 4 products contained all 4 at the same time. And we're not talking about obscure brands. We're talking about the ones with the smiling babies on the label. The ones you find at every grocery store. The ones your pediatrician has brochures for in the waiting room. One product on this list tested at nearly 91 times the legal limit for arsenic in drinking water. 91 times. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly which products to pull from your home and which 9 alternatives are actually safe. ByHeart. If you have this formula in your house right now, I need you to know something. I had it too. This was not an obscure brand. Launched in 2022 with nearly $200 million behind it, marketed aggressively as the formula closest to breast milk, whole milk proteins, organic lactose, no palm oil, no corn syrup. Influencers loved it. Parenting blogs ranked it number 1. When the Abbott Similac recall hit and parents were panicking, ByHeart stepped forward as the clean, safe alternative. I fell for it. I fed my baby this formula, thinking I was making the best possible choice. Then, 2026 happened. A federal recall. Verify the current lot numbers and contamination specifics at FDA. Gov. The details are still developing and they matter. But no federal recall is minor. The 2022 Abbott crisis left millions of families rationing formula overnight, driving hours for a single can. A brand that built its entire identity on being cleaner and safer is now under a federal recall notice. That sick feeling you might be carrying right now? I felt it too. You weren't wrong to trust them. The marketing was designed to make you trust them. But pull whatever you have from your home, because ByHeart is just the first name on this list. This next one surprised me. Then it made me angry. Beechnut has been in American kitchens since 1891, 130 years. The Naturals sub-brand does a lot of work. It signals clean, simple, safe. Their rice cereal has been recommended by pediatricians as the perfect first food for generations. It's in every major grocery store in this country. Parents who were being careful, reading labels, choosing the natural option, bought this without a second thought. Congressional investigators subpoenaed Beechnut's internal documents. Here's what they found. Beechnut knew its rice flour contained up to 913 parts per billion of inorganic arsenic. That is 91 times the EPA's legal limit for arsenic in drinking water. 91 times. And they kept selling anyway. This was not a contamination accident. It was a documented decision. The congressional report made it public in February 2021. Chronic arsenic exposure in infants is linked to lower IQ, impaired neurodevelopment, and lifelong cancer risk. Leave this one on the shelf. And the next one is going to hit different. Okay, we're here. Gerber. The #1 baby food brand in the United States. Pediatricians display Gerber materials in their waiting rooms. The Gerber baby face is one of the most recognized images in American culture. When most parents in this country picture baby food, they picture this brand. That trust is generational, and that is exactly what makes this so devastating. Congressional investigators obtained Gerber's own internal testing data. Their rice cereals repeatedly showed inorganic arsenic, exceeding the FDA's guidance level of 100 parts per billion. Their fruit pouches tested at over 10 grams of sugar per serving from fruit concentrate. the equivalent of feeding your baby 2 to 3 whole fruits at once, before age 1D, conditioning their palate toward hyper-sweetness before their preferences have even formed. And lead was detected in finished products. The CDC is unambiguous. There is no safe blood lead level in children. 0 is the only acceptable number, not a trace, not a little, 0. And Gerber's own tests showed it wasn't 0. This one is a hard no. That's the worst product on this list. But we're still not done. Gerber, I need a second before I say what comes next. Because this isn't just a brand. This is a cultural institution. The Gerber baby face. The pediatrician's waiting room with the Gerber brochures on the rack. The first jar your mother probably fed you. The one your grandmother recognized. When most parents in this country close their eyes and picture baby food, they picture this brand. And not just any parents, the careful ones, the ones reading labels, the ones buying organic, the ones watching videos like this one because they want to do it right. Gerber was supposed to be the safe answer. That's what makes the next part so hard to say out loud. Congressional investigators didn't just pull independent lab data on Gerber. They got Gerber's own internal testing records, the company's own documents, and those documents showed lead in finished products. Lead they tested for themselves. Lead they knew about. The CDC has been clear about this for decades. There is no safe blood lead level in children. Not a trace. Not a microdose. 0 is the only acceptable number, and it doesn't end with lead. Gerber's own internal testing showed their rice cereals repeatedly exceeded the FDA's guidance level of 100 parts per billion for inorganic arsenic. That's the agency's own threshold, and their flagship product kept breaking it. Then there are the fruit pouches, over 10 grams of sugar per serving, coming from fruit concentrate. That's the equivalent of handing your baby 2 or 3 whole fruits in a single sitting, before age 1, before their kidneys and liver are fully developed, before their palate has had any chance to form preferences. You are wiring their brain for hypersweetness before they even have teeth. This wasn't discovered by an outside lab trying to make headlines. This came from Gerber's own records, obtained under congressional subpoena. The brand with the most recognized face in baby food, with the most pediatrician endorsements, with the most generational trust, and their own internal data told this story. Hard no, complete avoid, that is Gerber. And that is the worst product on this list. If this is helping you see what's actually on those shelves, hit like and subscribe right now. I spend weeks going through congressional subpoenas, FDA enforcement data, and independent lab results so you don't have to spend a single minute of it. The list isn't over, and the good news is coming. Here's one that caught me completely off guard. Earth's Best Organic. You've seen those two words together and probably felt safe. That's the entire strategy. Organic does so much work on that label. Parents who are paying attention, parents who are spending more, reading more, choosing more carefully, they're buying Earth's Best, specifically because they believe organic means cleaner. It does not mean cleaner, not when it comes to heavy metals. The 2021 congressional report pulled Earth's Best's own internal testing data. What it found: arsenic levels in rice flour ingredients hitting 129 parts per billion. The FDA's guidance level is 100. They were already over the line. And lead was detected in finished products, the ones sitting on the shelf, the ones you hand to your baby. Here's the thing about organic certification that nobody tells you. The USDA process does not screen for heavy metals. Not once. Organic crops pull arsenic and lead from soil the same way conventional crops do. Sometimes more. You paid a premium for a label that offered 0 additional protection. Hain Celestial, the parent company, also partially refused to cooperate with the congressional investigation. That alone tells you something. I'd skip this one entirely, and honestly, the last one on this list made me the angriest of all. Plum Organics. Look at the packaging. Clean, modern. You find it at Whole Foods, at Target. The mighty branding suggests superior nutrition. Like choosing this pouch is the power move, the elevated choice. and the blended format makes it feel comprehensive, like your baby is getting everything in one. That positioning is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Here's what Plum Organics actually did when Congress came asking. They were the only major baby food company that flat out refused to hand over their internal testing data. Every other brand cooperated, at least partially. Plum said no. Think about what that tells you. If your products were clean, you show the data. You prove it. You use that moment to separate yourself from the pack. You don't go silent. Independent testing by Healthy Babies. Bright Futures found heavy metal contamination across multiple Plum pouches, including mercury. Mercury. There is no safe pediatric exposure level for mercury. None. It damages the developing central nervous system, causes hearing loss, vision problems, motor delays, language disorders. And since Plum refused to share their own data, parents have no way to independently verify what's actually in those pouches. That's not a product I can recommend. That's a product I'd never buy again. Those are all 5. And now I need to give you something better, because you came here for solutions, not just fear. Okay, take a breath. I know that was a lot to sit with. If you're angry right now, good, hold on to that. If you're feeling guilty, let it go. Right now, you didn't know. None of us knew. The companies counted on that. But here's what's true. You're still here. You watched all of this because you would do anything to protect your kid. That's not a failing parent. That's exactly the kind of parent your baby needs. Now let me show you what to buy instead. Now here's one you can actually trust. Bobby Organic Infant Formula. This brand does something most American formula companies refuse to do. They voluntarily meet EU nutritional standards. The European Union's regulations on heavy metals, additives, and processing aids are dramatically stricter than the FDA's minimums. So when Bobby chose to exceed what U.S. law requires, they were making a deliberate statement about what kind of company they wanted to be. No corn syrup solids, no palm olein oil, algae-sourced DHA, USDA certified organic, third-party tested, FDA-registered facility. You can find it at Target, Walmart, Costco, or their website for around $35 to $40 a canister. This one is safe. And if you need formula right now, this is where I'd start. Kendamil Organic Infant Formula. This one has been around since 1962. Not a startup riding a wellness trend. Not a brand built on Instagram. A British formula manufacturer with over 60 years of production, required by law to meet EU regulatory standards that make ours look like suggestions. What makes Kendamil different isn't just certification, it's the base. They use whole milk protein, not the skimmed milk and vegetable oil blend most American formulas rely on. No palm oil, no soy, no fish oil. Their DHA comes from algae, grass-fed dairy source. You'll find it at Target and Amazon for roughly $30 to $38. If heritage and a proven track record matter to you, this is a strong choice. Greenlight, Serenity Kids, baby food pouches. Here's what immediately sets this brand apart. Zero rice. None. That single decision eliminates the biggest arsenic risk in the baby food category entirely. And instead of building their pouches around starchy filler carbohydrates, Serenity Kids centers on ethically sourced animal proteins. Grass-fed beef, pasture-raised chicken, wild-caught salmon, paired with organic vegetables, 2 to 4 ingredients per pouch. That's it. No added sugars, no starch. Clean label, project certified. When you hold this against what Plum and Gerber are putting in their products, the contrast is stark. You can find these at Target and Whole Foods for about $3.50 to $4.25 per pouch. This one gets my full approval. Once Upon a Farm cold-pressed organic pouches. Most baby food goes through high-heat pasteurization. It kills pathogens, but it also destroys micronutrients, degrades enzymes, and concentrates whatever contaminants are present. Once Upon a Farm uses high-pressure processing instead. HPP preserves nutrition without heat, without chemical preservatives, without the trade-offs. The ingredients on the label are the actual whole ingredients, not concentrates, not added sugars, not fruit juice standing in for real fruit. USDA certified organic, no rice. This brand was built with transparency as a core value, not an afterthought. You'll find them at Whole Foods and Target, around $3 to $3.75 per pouch. You can feel good about this one. Cerebelli brain-supporting purees. This brand came from a place most don't. Dr. Teresa Perkis is a board-certified pediatric neurosurgeon. She didn't build Cerebelli because it seemed like a good market opportunity. She built it because she understood, at a clinical level, what the developing infant brain actually needs. And she looked at what was on the shelf and found a massive gap. Every Cerebelli pouch is formulated with 16 specific nutrients, scientifically linked to brain development at each stage: choline, iron, zinc, iodine, DHA, folate. Not just added vitamins, intentional formulation, USDA certified organic, Clean Label Project Gold certified. Independently third-party tested for heavy metals, no added sugar. Available at Target and Cerebelli.com for $4.50 to $5.25 per pouch. Worth every cent. Little Spoon Baby Blends. Here's where freshness changes everything. Little Spoon ships refrigerated. No shelf-stable processing, no heat treatment, no preservatives needed to keep a pouch shelf-stable for 2 years. That matters because most of the contamination risk in conventional baby food is amplified by high heat processing and extended storage. Little Spoon skips all of that. USDA organic, no rice. Nutritionist formulated and stage specific. And they publish their third-party heavy metal testing results directly to consumers. You can look it up before you order. It's a direct-to-door subscription through littlespoon.com, about $3.50 to $4.25 per portion. If you want transparency and freshness built into the model, this is the option. Safe choice. Amara Organic Baby Food. What separates Amara is their proprietary flash-drying technology. Standard shelf-stable baby food survives shipping and storage through high-heat processing that strips nutritional value. Amara uses a gentler, faster drying method that preserves what conventional processing destroys, without heat damage, without chemical stabilizers. The result is a shelf-stable product that doesn't compromise the nutrient profile to get there. USDA certified organic. No rice ingredients, which means arsenic risk is off the table. Non-GMO. No added sugars or preservatives. Clean Label Project certified. Simple ingredient lists you can actually read. You'll find Amara at Target, Amazon, and their website for around $8 to $10 per multi-portion pack. This one's a yes. Yumi Organic Baby Food. This one is built differently from the ground up. Yumi makes your baby's food fresh, weekly, to order, then ships it directly to your door. No sitting in a warehouse, no long shelf life processing. Designed by pediatric dietitians and developmental specialists, not marketing teams. Each stage targets specific developmental nutrient needs. USDA certified organic. Zero added sugars, salt, or preservatives. No rice. And they disclose full ingredient sourcing on their website, where it comes from, not just what it is. Third-party tested. It's subscription only through HelloYumi.com. Around $4.25 to $5 per serving. It's on the premium end. But when you look at what you're getting versus what's on the grocery store shelf, the math changes fast. This one is safe. And finally, the option that beats every brand on this list. Make it yourself. I know that sounds like extra work, but single ingredient purees take 15 minutes. You control every ingredient. You know exactly what went in. No processing risk. No hidden additives, no heavy metal accumulation from ingredients you can't trace. The AAP endorses this approach. Start with avocado, sweet potato, peas, butternut squash, and ripe banana. These are all naturally low in heavy metals. Buy organic versions of anything on the EWG's Dirty Dozen list to cut pesticide exposure. It'll cost you 40 to 90 cents per serving. That's a fraction of any pouch on the market. One thing to avoid: rice cereal as a first food, spinach or beets before 12 months, and any carrot juice. Everything else? Steam. Blend, done, budget-friendly, completely safe. And it's the one option where no company can let you down. So here's your list. Avoid. ByHeart. Pull it now and check FDA Gov for your lot numbers. Beechnut, 91 times the arsenic limit in their own documents. Gerber, lead, arsenic, and 10 grams of sugar, all from their own internal testing. Earth's best organic, because organic means nothing when it comes to heavy metals. And Plum Organics, the brand that refused to show Congress their own data. Those 5 come off your shelf today, and here's what goes on it instead. Bobby or Kendamil if you need formula. Serenity Kids, Once Upon a Farm, Cerebelli, Little Spoon, Amara, or Yumi for pouches and purees. Or skip every brand entirely and make it yourself. Avocado, sweet potato, peas. 15 minutes, 40 cents a serving, 0 risk. You now know what most parents in this country will never find out, because the companies counted on that. They built their entire business model on the trust of people who didn't have time to read a congressional subpoena. You did. Think about that new mom in your life right now. Your sister, that friend from your birth class, they are buying these exact products this week, thinking they're making the safe choice. Send them this video. We protect our own. Next week. I'm going deep on infant formula, beyond the recall, into what the long-term testing actually shows. You're going to want to see it. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss it. You came here to protect your kid. Now you can